Hey guys! Welcome to a series I'm really excited to start, Stardew Valley 100 Days. I've been playing Stardew Valley for a year or two now, and I'm honestly obsessed. I have so many hours on both my Switch and my PC, and while I was intending to wait and do this when the next update came out, I got impatient, and decided to do a 1.6 100 Days video. The idea is to eventually aim for perfection, but I'm definitely going to be taking my time. I hope you all enjoy the journey. The first day was spent pretty typical. Clear an area, plant the parsnips, and spend the rest of my time cleaning the farm and also looking for forageables. You're going to see a lot of time and days wasted, by the way, because I tend to sleep early, so if that bugs you, tap out now. This isn't your average 100-day video. On day 2, I watered my crops, went to the beach to get the fishing rod, ran around harvesting more forageables, and then went to bed. Day 3 had the luxury of rain, so I spent time cleaning up the farm before going and doing some fishing. I know people tend to hate fishing in video games, and I think that's actually extremely true for Stardew Valley, but it's actually one of my favorite activities in the game. I do like it more on the Switch than the PC though. Day 4, I just cut down trees, and on day 5 I cut down even more trees and ran around getting more forageables. I'm pretty much gonna just start skipping days like this that have no noteworthy content. I know that that's not really in spirit of the 100-day types of videos, but honestly, it's just a time saver for both you and me. On day 6, there was rain again, so I made my way to the mines for the first time. It went okay, but since I couldn't hold very much, I only ended up getting a couple of goodies. Day 7 and 8 were spent doing more of the same, just foraging and farming, but on day 9, I went to the mines and got a few gems. I also apparently purchased the first backpack upgrade at some point, I'm not entirely sure when, but it happened. On day 10, I cracked open some geodes, but for some reason chose not to make any donations to the museum yet. I don't know why, and then it was day 11. I tended to my crops and did some fishing, bought seeds from Pierre, and then added to my farm. On the night of day 12, I got a visit from a fairy, which I thought was nice, and then got to collect some of the crops I'd grown. I bought a few strawberries on day 13 and participated in the egg hunt, crushing my competition to the ground. These children got nothing on me. On day 15, I harvested a bunch of crops before going back to the mines to get more materials. I made it to floor 30 before heading home to sleep. On day 18, I caught the catfish, which ended up being much easier than I'd expected, especially on PC. I also decided to get the next fishing rod to help my odds of getting the eel, which at the time I thought was like way harder. I don't know why I thought the eel was like the hardest spring fish. I felt a bit goofy for bothering with the better rod, but oh well, I guess had to happen at some point. On day 20, I ran to Shane and gave him a Joja Cola for his birthday. I don't really know why, since I wasn't planning to romance him or anything, but the timing just worked out. I then gave Haley a flower later that day, hoping to start boosting her heart rank. Usually when I play Stardew, I pick either Haley or Elliot to romance. I'm actually not really a big fan of the other Bachelor and Bachelorette choices. Some of them are okay, but Elliot and Haley are the only ones I really felt connected to, so for this playthrough, I decided to go with Haley. That all being said, on the 24th of spring, it was time for the flower dance, and the only person I had 4 hearts with... Listen, okay? We're not romancing Shane. I just didn't want to be a loser without a date, okay? This was purely a platonic dance. Don't think too hard about it. On day 25, I made my way over to the community center to finally donate for the first time. I was obviously still missing a lot of items from every bundle, but I mainly just needed to clear out for chest space. On day 26, I made it to the ice levels in the mines and spent time collecting as much as possible before retreating back to the surface on floor 50. On day 27, Demetrius came by, and I requested to have fruit bats in the little cave on my farm, because honestly, who would pick mushrooms? That's some nerdy shit right there, just saying. I then went to the museum and dropped off a bunch of donations, but the rewards ended up being pure disappointment, so I left them there to rot. Day 28 rolled around, and mystery crates were dropped around the valley. I headed to Robin's to ask her to make me a coop, and that's where I decided to bring spring to a close. I was ready for summer. With the new season, it was time to clean up the old crops and place a bunch of new ones down. I went to Pierre's and bought a variety of seeds, except for a couple of vital ones to the community center because I'm stupid and forgot, but I'll get those later. I then planted all of my new seeds and got them all watered before turning in for the night. I headed to the beach and started collecting up the summer fish I'd need for the community center, and then on the next day I went back to the mines. I made it to floor 60 before heading back home. On day 4, I dropped off items at the community center, and then when I got back home, I checked the fruit cave, which blessed me with a pomegranate. I feel like I almost never see those in the fruit cave, so I was pretty excited. Day 5 was spent just doing a bunch of fishing for the different fish I need for the community center. Not that fascinating, I know. On day 6, I headed over to Clint and had him open geodes for me before making some donations to museum. I then finally realized that I needed the other crops I didn't buy and quickly purchased them from Pierre, but for some reason I didn't actually plant them yet. Don't ask me why. What is wrong with me? On the 11th, I head to the beach for the luau and threw in a silver star grape as my sacrifice to the cause. It went over well with everybody, so I'll take it as a win. I wasn't really taking it too seriously this year. On day 12, I went to my favorite girl in the world, the Wandering Trader, who I still think should be a dateable option, and bought some stuff from her that I need for the community center. And then I finally started planting all of those other seeds I bought. I don't know why I waited this long. I guess I like living life on the edge. I ended up getting a large melon on day 13, which I thought was pretty cool, and then the next day had the weird green rain stuff that was added. I actually do really like this addition to the game. I think it's whimsical. I then went down to the mines and just barely made to floor 70 before retreating home. But on day 16, I went back down and got to floor 80. I was in the home stretch now. On day 18, I went to the secret woods to catch the wood skip, and then on day 19, I went and visited my imaginary wife. One day we'll be able to date her. I bought wool from her to use for the community center because I'm lazy, and then went to the center to drop off more items to bundles. On day 21, I went back to the mines and got to floor 90 before heading home. I was very happy to see the obsidian edge because I hate using hammers in this game. On day 22, I tried to go back to the mines, but, well... yeah, I ended up being so angry that I reset the day. If I hadn't lost my sword, I wouldn't have bothered, but I was just so salty about this. Don't worry, this is the only time I reset, at least for this 100 days. I went back to the mines and this time trounced those slimes before getting to floor 100 and getting my first star drop. On day 25, I was finally able to make more progress in the community center. Not a lot of progress, but progress is progress. And then on the next day, I went and saw my wife again, looking perfect as always. And I accidentally bought a chair from her, but I played it off like I meant to do it, and it was set by a tree. On day 27, I made a bunch of donations to the museum and got more trash rewards, and then went around cutting down trees to collect materials in preparation for fall. On the last day of summer, I went to see Miss Merchant to invite her to the Moonlight Jellies event, but she sadly had to be on the road by evening, so I bought a bunch of items from her to soothe myself before sulking my way over to the beach. And I'll be honest, I don't really like this event much. There's not really anything to do, you can't skip the cutscene, and I didn't have my imaginary wife with me, so it was just a sad time. But thankfully, the next morning would mean a new season, which can only promise hopes and dreams and wonderful times to come. Right? I cleaned up my farm and got all of the new crops planted and finally placed down some sprinklers to lighten my load, and man did that feel great. But of course, I was poor in the previous season, so I had to wait to even get these few sprinklers. I'm sure commenters will totally understand that and not scream at me whatsoever for only just now getting sprinklers in fall. Of course. On day 2 of fall, I went and got to the final floor of the mines and donated to the museum on day 3 for... worthless rewards. Thanks, game. I did some more mining that evening, went to bed with a heart full of dreams, and my fall files were gone. All I had was the beginning and the very end of the season. I searched my computer, my recycle bin, but they were just gone. I had no explanation. I can't even tell you all I accomplished in that month because I don't have the footage. I'll try to piece it together and fill you guys in as best I can, but yeah, there's gonna be some blanks. It's like my character went through a traumatic event and just forgot a month of her life. Big oof for her. On day 26, my house was upgraded, so that's neat. I'm sure my character was pretty shocked to wake up to that too. I also went through my chest, probably trying to remember what I had on me. Actually, this was by pure chance, but kind of works out since you guys can see what I have. I also made a barn, and I believe there's 2 cows in it if I remember correctly. Oh, I also have the coop, which again, I think has 2 chickens. I also unlocked the desert because I have the desert fish in my inventory. Well, I'm glad I could give you all that riveting fall content. On to winter. Day 1 of winter, I ran into Mr. Krobus and then went to the community center to finish up another bundle before heading to the desert to go into Skull Caverns. But when I was there... yeah, that sucked, but I didn't lose anything major, so it could have been worse. On day 2, I went to the quarry and cleared it out with bombs, which is so satisfying. Bombs are my favorite item in Stardew Valley, so once I had them, you best believe I'll be using them all the time. I then went into that little cave to get the golden scythe, and I'll be honest, I have no idea how I didn't die here. I'm kind of amazed at myself, so I'm gonna play the whole clip for you guys. I bought goats from Marnie at some point, I'm not entirely sure when, but I had them and they're cute. Life is good. On day 7, I headed for the Skull Caverns again and was having a decent time until... I hate infested floors! Anyways, it was time for the ice fishing competition, which I of course won because I'm a fishing master, and on day 9 I got a horse. I always forget how great the horse is until I have it, and then I wonder how I was ever walking around. I donated more to the museum, and Gunther continued to be a disappointment, and then I took more stuff to the community center. Afterwards, I headed to the Skull Caverns, and this time went much better than the last. I made it to floor 30. On day 12, I participated in the Squid Fest and got all of the rewards available, and then on day 14, I went to see my darling wife one last time before the end of the 100 days. She didn't have anything I wanted, but I was still happy to see her. On day 15, I took more items to the community center and then went to my favorite event in Stardew Valley, the night market. This is easily the best event and I won't hear otherwise. It has so much to do, multiple shops, looks gorgeous, and it goes on for 3 days. I like this better even than like the new desert festival. That thing has nothing on this. I got my greenhouse built overnight and then it was day 16 of winter. AKA day 100 of my Stardew playthrough. Now, I know this video probably felt like it was missing a lot because of the fall files being gone, plus me not documenting every single day. The problem is that a lot of days in Stardew Valley, especially in early game, aren't very interesting. It's the same routine every single time, and I just didn't see a point in keeping that in. If people really want a more detailed run through next time for the 200 days video, I'll try my hardest to at least acknowledge the days, even if nothing really happens in them. But for now, I think this style is fine and more true to my personal playstyle. Thank you so much for watching this 100 days video. Please remember to like, subscribe to see more, and tell me what you think in the comments. Bye bye!